What is going on, guys? It is Lions Garage here, and today I'm doing story time. Like promised, I'm doing the story time on how I almost wrecked my truck. Several times how I've almost wrecked into my truck, or my truck just wrecked it. Almost. Now, there's several stories that lead on to this, but I'm here to tell you guys how I almost wrecked it. So, let's just get right into it, I guess. So, my one story is, happened, like, whenever I first got it. It was like a year ago, whenever I first got the truck. It had that crappy old bed on it that was all beat to crap. It's a really nice truck, don't get me wrong, and if you guys didn't notice, I did get my hair cut. It was styled. It was put up like that. But, I've been wearing my Beats all day. And, it kind of pushed it down and made my hair look weird. But, just in case you guys noticed, I did cut it short. And so, just saying that. But let's get back to story time anyway. So, basically, a year ago, it was a year ago. I was driving around my sister's Jeep, driving it around the yard. I was doing something with it. I don't remember what I was doing with it, but I was doing something with it. And I don't remember what I was doing with it, but I was doing something. And it was slicker than snot. Oh yeah, I remember what I was doing with it. I was, getting out of the backyard so she could go somewhere. And my mom's car was in the way. She wasn't there, and she had the key. She was with my dad, and we didn't have the key to the van. So I was like, crap, I'll just take it around the house. I was just going to take it around the house because we didn't have the key to the van to get it out of the driveway, so I could pull it up the driveway and right by my truck. It was slicker than snot out, right? It was like very slick. And I was like, that Jeep could handle it or whatever. I was like, alright, whatever. So I'm in the Jeep. I pull around the house, and we have this dirt bike trail. Like, it's a track that I made, and it's just a dirt track. It's all dirt. There's rocks in it, which helped me a little bit. But I'm telling you, that Jeep just kept on pulling sideways. So I was going down the trail, and it just kept on going like that. Well, anyways, I just kept on going. Like, I about went into the pond or whatever. I was like, oh, crap. I can't make it. I can't make it down that little hill to that flat spot. That way I can get up. So I was like, oh, man, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Do I wait till Dad gets home? Or do I just get it out? Like, right now, so I don't get in trouble or anything. My sister needed it, too. Get that? She needed it. And I was responsible. Because I'm the one that got it stuck. So I was like, oh, crap, I need to get it out of the yard before Dad gets home. I'm going to get in so much trouble if the Jeep's stuck right next to the pond. So I was like, alright, you know what? I'll get it out. I was like, you know what? I'll be a man about this. I'm going to get it out. So I was like, the Jeep does not have a winch. You got to have a factor that Jeep did not have a winch. I was like, man, that sucks. Jeep doesn't have a winch. We have a come-along up at the shop. Maybe I could use the come-along, possibly. So I was like, alright, I'm going to just go get the come-along. And then the bumper on the Jeep has two little, like, the things that you hook, like, chains onto or whatever. It has two of them, one on each side. So I was like, I need to pull it up because the thing kind of came down on an angle, and I was trying to go up. And the pond's, like, down here. And I was, like, stuck, like, right there. So I was like, man, if I go any more, it'll go down to the pond. So, it's kind of angled weird. It goes like that. It, like, goes down at an angle, like that, and then like that. So, you know, I was kind of stuck. I was like, oh man, how am I going to do this? Anyways, I get to come along, attach it to a couple trees, start cranking on it, get it to a safe place where I could just go 4 low and go. And anyways, I put it in 4 low, get it up the hill or whatever into the field, and I have to come along in the seat because I just got the Jeep out and Jeep out of the situation. I was like, oh crap, I just got this Jeep out. Luckily I got it out, and I didn't get it all muddy neither because she needed to go somewhere. I was like, that's good that I didn't get it all muddy neither. I mean, that's pretty good. Anyways, I go up to the field where my truck is. My truck's in the field. There's this big old long field before my house is in the back of the field. Anyways, I'm like, alright. So I pull up right next to it. I'm going probably about like 15, 20 mile an hour. Give or take. That's pretty fast going through a field. Well, anyways, I forgot there was slicker and snot out there. And then the Jeep just starts going towards my truck. And I'm like, oh crap, oh crap. So I'm turning the wheel. And like, literally it's doing nothing. That's how slick it is. Like, literally that Jeep could, like, it goes more places than anything that we've ever had. And like, I'm literally sitting there, I'm like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. And it starts sliding the door. Starts sliding to the corner of my bed. And then, like, literally I stuck my hand out and like grabbed a hold of that bed, and like I'm sitting there with the brakes. I'm like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. And I'm sitting there freaking out. I'm freaking out, guys. Like, I'm freaking out that I'm going to hit my truck and damage Abby's Jeep too. So I'm sitting there. I put my hand out, and somehow, whenever I put my hand out onto that truck, it stopped. It just stopped. And like, I'm not sure if it was me that stopped it, because I mean, we weren't going that fast. We weren't even going 1 mile an hour, and I just stuck my hand out. I about wrecked into my truck. I about wrecked Abby's Jeep. I mean, you just tell me, like, that is like bad whenever you about to do that. And then here comes my dad. Abby already left. Here he comes down the driveway. And he pulls in like nothing. He doesn't even slide or anything with his truck. I'm like, how did you do that? How? How did you do that, dude? Like, literally, I almost wrecked into my truck doing that. And he's like, well, I just pulled in. And I'm like, you were going faster than me, and you didn't even slide one bit. He said, I had it in two. I had it in two-wheel drive. And I was like, oh, dude. And, like, I felt kind of humiliated because I told him the story, and he was like, well, evidently you need to learn about four-wheeling or something like that. And I was like, dude, what the heck? So I'm sitting there feeling humiliated. I about wrecked in my truck and everything. So, I mean, that's kind of the end of that story. I mean, that was humiliating. Like, I mean, I thought that I was good. Like, I mean, I've gotten my truck out and Abby's Jeep out of places that, like, my dad hasn't even got out. Some of the time, not all the time. Most of the time he gets them out because he got them stuck or whatever. And, you know, I mean, me being me, I was freaking out. And, you know, I mean, honestly, I could have probably not went that fast. So that's kind of the point of that story. And I will continue this video here in a second. I'm going to go get a drink, and I'll continue this video. There's probably going to be a little bit of chops in between of them, because I'm going to, like, think a little bit more hard on this. Alright, guys, I'll see you in a minute. Oh, here we go. Alright, guys, I'm sorry for that break, but, I had to. But we just got finished with the story about me almost wrecking into Abby's Jeep or whatever. And I got another story. It includes Abby's Jeep and the Explorer at the same time. Really big difference, right? You know, I mean, Whenever it comes with multiple cars, you know, I mean, but this could have wrecked my truck. This doesn't mean that it was almost, if that chain would have broke. But let's get into the story. So, it was a night, actually. I was sitting in there, didn't have the bed on it. You guys probably remember whenever it was gray. It was that gunmetal gray or whatever. It was rusted on all fenders and everything like that. It was a mess, dude. It was a absolute mess. Well, anyways, I was sitting there. I was painting on the frame. I was like sitting there with my tire changing tool, sitting there popping all the rust off of it, and taking my wire brush, sitting there getting it off that way too. But the tire tool seemed to work a whole lot better. Well, anyways, I was sitting there painting. Dad comes up to me. Hey, hop in the truck. And I'm like, alright, what are we doing? He hops in. He's like, we're going to try to take it to the back of the property. And I'm like, oh, crap. You know, I mean, I didn't want to tell him, no, it won't make it because it has a rod knocking in it. I was like, oh, crap. So, we're going to the back of the property with a truck that doesn't even run right, necessarily. The carburetor is a single barrel carburetor, so it's like that big around. I mean, and it's trying to feed in gas. I mean, what the heck? I mean, I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, alright, let's go. Whatever. If it gets stuck, we'll get it out. Well, we went to the bottom of the hill. And this hill is like that. Like, literally, it's almost straight up and down. And, literally, it's steep. Luckily, my brakes worked. That's a good thing about that truck. The brakes do work. But you gotta hold it all the way down for the brakes to work. It's weird. Well, anyways, he's going down the hill or whatever. He adjusts my seat or whatever. And I'm like sitting there with my seatbelt on. And the passenger seat going, oh, God. Because I wasn't sure if we were going to make it down it. Safely, that is. Because I didn't even hardly know about the truck then. So I was kind of sitting there. I was like, alright, we're gonna go down here. We got down to the bottom of the hill, right? And turns out the truck decides to die. At the bottom of the hill. Out of all places that truck could have died, it decides to die at the bottom of the hill, guys. The bottom of the hill. And I'm kind of like, sitting here, I'm like, what the heck? This truck just died at the bottom of the hill. That means I'm going to have to walk all the way back up tonight and leave it down here. Leave it down here. So I'll close all my windows, get out my GoPro. I'm like, because I didn't want my GoPro being in there. Because if someone did come back there and they checked my truck or whatever, because I never lock my truck. I will be whenever I start driving it all the time. But, if someone did check my truck, I didn't want them taking all my crap out of it. So it's kind of like I got everything out of it and kind of took it up the hill in a toolbox. Kind of getting it up that hill, getting up that big old steep hill. And I'm like, oh, come on. I'm sitting there. I'm out of breath. Well, anyways, next day rolls around and I'm like, Dad, we need to get my truck out of there. And he's like, we will, buddy, we will. And I'm like, no, we need to get it out of there. We go down there, we try to start it. Wasn't getting any fuel. It was cranking over. It just wasn't getting any fuel. So I was kind of like, okay, let's go to the gas station and get some gas or whatever. Well, we go get gas or whatever, and literally I'm sitting there and I'm like, how are we gonna get this thing out? I don't think it's the gas. I think that it's not getting any fuel because of the line or whatever. We put 10 gallons in it of gas. And he's like, alright, this should work. It's a 30-gallon tank. It was basically on E whenever I got it. And he was like, and we've been just driving it around or whatever. We put 5 gallons in it before we got it. But He was like, this should work. He tries to crank it over. It gets gas for a second, and then it's like, boom, 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 boom. Like, yeah, that just happened. It just died again. So he's sitting there trying to turn it over. He ends up flooding the thing. He's like, well, bud, we're going to have to do it a different way. A different way? How else do you do it? He's like, let's go get the Jeep. We hop in the Jeep. We take this big old long metal braided cable that we have. Like, it's probably about like that thick. I'm going to say probably about like that thick. It's like what you get in a come-along. Like that kind of cable. It was a cable. Anyways, I go down there, put it on my frame, and then screw the thing on. That way it'll be nice and tight, and that way I can get my truck up the hill. Anyways, the Jeep, like, would not pull it up there. All it did was it would just keep on spinning. We're like, well, that's just really nice right there. So we go get a second round of cable. Like, we get it up a little bit with the Jeep, not much. And then I'm sitting there, he's like, alright, buddy, go put your truck in park. Because we had to put it in neutral to get it even up the thing. Like, I'm sitting in the driver's seat of my truck and, like, holding the brake in neutral. And whenever he would, like, I'd sit like this, and then he would, like, once he let off the brake lights on the Jeep, that means that I let off on my brakes. And then he would just yank my truck up to the top of the hill. Remember, this is a pretty steep hill. Well, anyways, we had to go get the Explorer. I go up there, I get the Explorer, I pull it down there. And he's like, alright. He said, go hook the cable up to the Jeep and I'll hook this up to the Explorer. I'm like, okay. He hooks it up to the Explorer, gets the Explorer nice and tight. Like, he pulls it up, gets the cable nice and tight. That way it's doing everything. Anyways, I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's like, alright, bud. He said, the Explorer's doing a lot of the hauling and the Jeep. So we had a big old line of train going on. So what we had to do is, my job was to hop in the Jeep, put it in drive, and then just try to drive it up, and then he's in the Explorer. My truck's in neutral. Get this, my truck's in neutral the whole time. My truck's in neutral. And, like, once he goes, I go. And then once he stops, I put mine in park. And then and I'll go down there and then put my truck in park. And, like, literally it was this big old long, like, situation. Eventually we got it up there with the train type thing. Like, the Explorer had most of the traction, so it'd get it up there. The Explorer was pulling the Jeep was pulling the truck. So, I mean, we got it up there, like, relatively easy. I'm like, okay, that's pretty nice. Well, anyways, we get it up there. And, like, literally, if that chain would have broke, the cable would have broke from the Jeep, my truck, the whole front end, it would have been bye-bye for that truck. Because that truck would not have made it. It would have rolled over in the creek. It would have hit some trees. That whole cab and front end and everything, toast. So that's my second story. And I will be back for the third story. And possibly the fourth story. Okay, guys, I'm back for the third story here. And the third story is kind of really my dad doing it. But, I'm all the time with my dad. Like, I'm sitting there with my dad whenever we're doing the truck stuff or whatever. And and this has nothing to do with the story, but I apologize for the lighting. I'm in my room filming this video. And I really don't have that good lighting in my room, but I appreciate you guys. If you guys have got to this part of the video, for sticking with me. But basically, my dad was like, we were in the truck. He was like, alright, Ethan, he said, this is whenever we got it painted and everything. Because I painted it purple. And he was like, this is relatively new. He was like, alright, Ethan, let's go get some wood. You gotta cross the pond dam and then, like, back it across the pond dam and everything like that. And then the truck's sitting like that. So, I mean, like, obviously, having 35s on it, it's really tall, makes it really top heavy. So I'm like, sitting there sideways in the passenger seat while he's driving it, because, I mean, I don't like driving the truck in dangerous situations because I've put too much time and effort into it, and if he wrecks it, I know that he's going to get me a new one just like it. Or we'll fix it. He'll pay to fix it to get it good. But anyways, I was sitting there and I was like, alright, so I go and get I go and hook the chain. Well, it's actually a strap. I go and get a strap, hook it to the tree. Alright. Like, it's not like even a tree, it's more like a log. A log, like a really long log. Like as big as my bed, like an 8-foot log. So, you know, I mean, truck had no problem getting it out. I had no problem getting it out. So I was like, ah, man, my truck got this. Whatever. I was sitting there, had the biggest ego ever. I got in the back of the bed and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get it. Well, my buddy Austin, he was with me. And we were in the bed of the truck and I was like, dude, this is so sketchy. We're right by a pond and like I kept on looking over the bedside and like literally like we were like that close for the tire being into the pond, and I was like, oh god. I was sitting there having anxiety. I was like, oh god. I said, what if we roll into the pond? He's like, don't think about that. And I'm like, okay. I'm sitting there rubbing my face like that. I'm like, oh shoot. He's gonna have to hit that hill pretty hard to get it up there, because we live on a really hilly area. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna have to let those horses sing to even get up the hill. Anyways, he goes up it like really slow, and then he gets stuck because it's front wheel drive right now. And if we had the back drive shaft in it, it would went up it all fine. It would have went up it, but it didn't have the back drive shaft in it. I gotta make a custom one, by the way. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh god. And like we backed down and we almost back into the pond. Like literally, like he slammed on the brakes, and that's about whenever we wrecked it. Is whenever he about rolled into the pond. And I was like sitting there, oh god, oh god, oh god. And he's like, what, buddy? And I'm like, you're so close to the pond. Anyways, he's like, alright, he said, we're gonna go. Well, he puts it in drive and goes, whoa, blah, blah. And like my transmission, like it gets low on fluid quick. So I gotta go change. I have to change the transmission filter and then put some new seals in it. Because, like, gaskets and everything in it. Because, it leaks. And, I mean, that's not that much, to be honest. And we can do it ourselves. I mean, it's relatively easy to do. I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, whatever. Well, anyways, he's like sitting there, he's like, oh, I'm gonna get it up here. I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. Well, anyways, he just absolutely lets it rip, guys. He lets it rip, and we get it up. We get the log up there. Literally bad all the time. Like, I'm telling you, like, I mean, I was about dead. So, yeah, basically that's the third time I about wrecked my truck. And, it was really, really bad. And then the fourth time that I've about wrecked my truck. Now, that one was a little bit different. That one was really different. I was sitting there, you know, I mean, I was sitting in the shop, right? Sitting there, talking to my dad. I was like, yeah, I'm about to pull the truck in. You know, I gotta pull the truck in and hook up the radio and everything that I just purchased. New radio, new everything. I just took out the old 6x9s and everything like that whenever I got it. I was like, alright, I'm going to put the new radio in. I just purchased it. And the speakers and everything. So I just purchased the 6x9s and 6.5s and the radio. Bluetooth radio and everything. Nice radio. Or whatever. You know, I mean, it's pretty nice. Well, anyways, I'm like, alright, I'm going to put it in. You know, I mean, I got hours left. You know, I mean, before we go hang out by the fire or whatever. Why don't I just put the radio in? Well, I haven't moved the truck since then. Like, talking present tense, I haven't moved the truck since this happened. And, I went to go pull it in, right? And, I fired up. I mean, I turned the key, fired up. Fires right up. I'm like, sweet, yeah. There we go. I sit there and go, whom, whom, for a second. It's 12 o'clock at night. Get this, truck's pretty loud. Whenever you're talking about living on hills and stuff. Because it just echoes. I'm like, oh yeah. And then Dad's like, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm like, oh man. I really want to do that. Well, anyways, I start pulling it in. He's guiding me in here. He's like, come on, turn this way, or whatever. I'm like sitting there, oh my gosh. And then I look out that side. I'm like that close from hitting my truck. I'm like a few inches. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna rip your whole driver's side off. And I'm like, dude, I need to back up to realign myself. That way I'm straight in there. Anyways, he's like, nah, just keep on coming. I'm watching. I'm like, dude, I need to back up. So anyways, I didn't listen to him. Because, of course, me, I got a big ego. I'll be honest. I got a big ego. And I'm like, I know best or whatever. Really, I didn't know best. I put that thing in reverse. I'm inches away from it. Not just sit there. I turn the wheel the opposite direction the door is. Luckily, I did that. I turned the wheel the opposite direction and just go, wham! Dirt flying everywhere. And then, like, literally it hit my mirror. That door hit my mirror. And that has bare metal on it. That door does. Bare metal and wood. Would absolutely ruin the paint on my truck and dent it up pretty good. Luckily, I did not hit that. Or else my bed would have been screwed. My door, it would have definitely been screwed. The fender would have been screwed. So, I mean, yeah, I about wrecked that thing. And luckily I didn't hit the door, or else it would have tore the door off too. And I really don't want to pay for a new door for my dad to the shop. So I was like, whew. He jumps out and he comes out and he's like, you about wrecked it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did. And he's like, let me put it in there. He puts it in there or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I should have listened to you. That's kind of the point. I should have listened to him, or else I'd have wrecked my truck. So guys, that is the end of this video. I hope to see you guys next time, and make sure that you like this video if you like it, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. It helps me every single time. And make sure that you guys leave a comment or whatever, and thank you guys for watching.